Hello everyone, this is Gorax. In this video, we will go over teams that can challenge Alton, one of the world bosses available in the game. We will compare Ice Blast and good old Frost, both free to play and spenders formations. For easier navigation, use the chapters provided. Let's go! When it comes to Alton, we don't really care about unit placement unless we use a healer that covers a small area like Quarion, which we will see later on. So if I find Quarion, as you can see, his skill has a low area, so we need to group everyone together. Since the first teams that we will use GARIUS, we're not worried about that. So we can put them however we want, but in theory, you could place them like this and it will work just the same. When it comes to Alton, the damage you will do is very random because the way the boss works, so basically he's shooting his orbs at random targets. So that's why placement doesn't matter, and there's a big discrepancy when it comes to damage done. Look at my main account. I've done 55 million, but my damage is between 42 to 59 million. This spreadsheet is available. There's a link attached to it, so you can see that. But we will talk about all this in a second. So this is the first team that I'll cover, and this is the pay-to-win team, like heavy, high-end. I mean, I'm using GARIUS, but there are better options as well, like Aquila or even something else probably. But I'm using GARIUS here because GARIUS is amazing, and I got him. So at the timings here, we're gonna use GARIUS Shield just before the ultimate to cover ultimate damage, and then we will cast Felocia's ultimate, which is a shield again. And damage reduction as well to prevent the 2 battle skills damage. This way we can survive, this team can survive the 5 minutes, obviously with a little bit of randomness. One of the damage dealers can die. We're using Zarok here and Sheena. Sheena is here to apply the debuffs. So she has Witch's Remain. I'll go over equipment just in a second. Then we follow with Zarok's 40% damage up to all Ice Blast allies, and we cast Beldelle's ultimate, and that's the rotation. Here, when it comes to equipment, as you can see here, GARIUS's staff, defensive equipment to absorb this 50% damage from our teammates. Sheena with Witch's Remain and Cyril says so when she casts this debuff, she also grants everyone 15% attack. Beldelle with her artifact. Sadly, I don't have her on main account. And Inventor's set. I mean, this set here, I don't think I have any piece of that set available. There might be a set that is better than this, but this is a safe set that you've been using everywhere, so you know, getting this is good. Now Abyssal, now we use this derivative set on Zarok. It might not be the right one, but I've used that with the fan, with the Queen's fan here to deal a little bit damage, and basically that's it. When it comes to Sheena, don't forget accuracy as well. And Felocia with this, on top of the already giving us damage reduction, she grants an extra damage reduction. Well, reduce the damage done by the allies by 17%, so we can really absorb these skills. And we're using the healing set here as well to make sure we have this extra healing, although we don't need it. We really don't need that set here. I just put it on because when I started testing, that's what I went for. And as you can see, the stats on GARIUS are huge. 4,500 defense, 60%, 66k HP. So this defense obviously boosts his healing, which is tremendous, with the shield as well. And yeah, basically these are the stats on the heroes. When it comes to our damage dealers, we aim for 100% crit rate with crit damage. On the epic Ice Blast heroes, this is a little bit different, but I'll go over that once we get to that point. We don't care about crit damage here, and Sheena, as I said, basically attack and just damage here. So let's play this fight. Oh, also aura. We decided to go with the defensive aura. We could go for crit damage as well. Actually, we went for crit in that scenario, so let's put crit on and let's see. As I said, this is random, so despite you seeing this huge number here, 116 million, this might differ. And we might do more or we might do less, depending on RNG. So let's play this fight. So at 5 stacks, we are already at 31 million damage. And we're still going strong. We got 3.5 minutes left. Okay, so we are at 10 stacks with 75 million damage, and since Velocia doesn't have enough haste, her shield is a little bit off. So if you want to make it be even better, make sure she's got enough haste to be on 18-second rotation. If that happens, you basically have a constant shield with the right amount of, well, with the right timing. And also remember, this team doesn't have attack down. Okay, and we hit 100 million damage at 13 stacks, and we still have 1 minute left. But now, Alton can take down someone. So if we are unlucky on the shields, or he is really focusing one hero, that hero is dead. As you can see, 2-3 orbs and Zorak is down. But Zorak is not the most important hero in this team, it's Sheena. As long as she's alive, Beldelle will constantly have her battle skill cast, and this will help us. So the ideal fight is Alton focusing GARIUS and Velocia, or basically your tank and your support. So the longer you play it, the more times you play it, the higher chance of you hitting that randomness that will benefit you greatly. But as you can see, we'll probably get to like 120 million if Beldelle can survive the next wave. No, yeah, well, actually we hit it. So 120 million damage here with this team. This is, I think, like one of the strongest team. Obviously better coordination, and 18.5 thousand 18,000 points basically. So let's go over the next team. So as you can see, the damage will be lower. Basically what we're doing is we're replacing Beldelle with exclusive artifact with Gerthin. So if you can have Gerthin, you might consider playing this. And as you can see, I even changed the formation. The skill timing here is really very similar. Nothing changed here. As I said, there's not enough haste on Velocia, sorry. So yeah, you might change that. If you really want to, you can play this with 18 seconds if you manage to put proper equipment with good haste, but I was unlucky on the runes, so I couldn't. So the timing is the same. Equipment wise, I basically changed all the pieces that Beldelle has, put them on Gerthin. Reduced crit rate though. Remember, we only need like 80%, so that's what I have here. And we're using a Manticore statue instead of the legendary artifact. Okay, so there's a legendary artifact that also do that, but I decided to go with this in this team. And everyone else is using the same equipment. So let's play this fight. So 18 million at 5 stacks. Definitely lower, you can see that. Gerthin's still doing amazing damage though. Despite that, obviously nowhere close to Beldelle with her exclusive artifact. 40 million at 10 stacks. We're still going strong. We got 2 minutes left. I mean, as I said, you can try and manipulate Velocia's shield to cast it at the right time, somewhere between those two battle skills, if you're in front of your PC, of course. But if you know me, I like to play on auto. Okay, so the last seconds, 45 seconds of the fight. 14 stacks, almost 60 million damage there. We will get 60 million before 15 stacks. And we can see the damage is sticking now, right? So Alton's damage is going through the shields if it hits multiple times on a single target. If it hits once, then we are right. We'll have enough time till the next shield. And this is what's happening. We've got 20 seconds now, and we'll have a shield after shield, which should be enough to keep us alive. Maybe that was a little bit prematurely. We could have waited till the last 10 seconds, because that's how much the shield lasts. But yeah, we've done it. We survived. No one died. So that means we were more lucky on this randomness, and we hit 68 million. So previously I noted we did 68, so we hit the same threshold. And as you can see, the points are basically the same here. And the points between 116 and 68 million are only a difference of 1.4k, which in the end might be a game changer, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. So that was the second team. We're moving on to the third team, which will be an Ice Blast team without Beldelle and without Zarok. And as you can see, it's done 61 million previously. The timings are pretty much the same, with an exception of us trying to put basically Bleddyn's ultimate before what's her name? Gerthin, but in the end, we want Gerthin on default, because her complete recharge time is way faster than everyone else, and this is a long fight, so she will do more ultimates compared to anyone else. And what I'm going to do here is we will use Bleddyn with this artifact. So in theory, I should put it on Gerthin to increase her damage, but this is how I wanted to play it, right? And we're building Bleddyn with a proper damage oriented equipment. So he will have 80% crit or around it, with crit damage and attack. And that's the only change, really. You will see that for the most parts we will use those two heroes, or even those three heroes, and their equipment will not change. The timings on them will not change. So let's equip this team. And again, the formation here doesn't really matter. We're going for defensive aura as well. And this time around, we'll see how a properly built Bleddyn with 80% crit, because he's getting 20% crit on his skills. So he's got 100% chance of critting. How properly built Bleddyn fares to Gerthin. So yeah, we are at 5 stacks, 19 million damage. And look at Gerthin and Bleddyn's difference. You're probably not seeing that on your main account, because you don't have that artifact, that epic artifact, sorry, legendary artifact, the Ice Blast one. The difference is really low. So if you have those two artifacts, both of those heroes will do a lot of damage, and we'll bring in another epic hero afterwards. So yeah, we are at 43 million, still going strong. 2 minutes left. Gerthin and Bleddyn's damage, 7% difference. So yeah, those two artifacts, I really wanted to get an Ice Blast dupe myself, which will be Shina. And it will be worth basically putting her into this artifact. I mean, I'm not gonna get Zorak, and I'm not gonna get Zorak's dupe. So yeah, I was really hoping to get a dupe Ice Blast hero legendary he won to get this artifact. Didn't happen, but you can see that this artifact really boosts damage of Bleddyn. So yeah, at this point, at 55 million, Bleddyn has fallen. We were really unlucky. He's got hit by multiple orbs. So this is what can happen, and we still got a minute left, right? So if we're unlucky enough, another damage dealer will fall. Remember, the number of our heroes reduced, which means there's a higher chance of our damage dealers to get targeted by these random orbs. And we are at 58 million damage, 59 now. So hopefully we will be able to survive. And as you can see, Felocia's shield and GARIUS shield has eventually desynced, and they're doing it at the same time, which might be the reason why we had a fatality in our team. So to do that, delay Velocia's shield a little bit, cast it right at this battle skill, and it will last till the next battle skill. And then we'll follow with GARIUS shield, and this helps us survive. So we are at 64 million damage. If we look at the spreadsheet, what we've done previously with that team, that is already couple millions ahead. So we're at 65 million, 4 million difference. And as I said, it's all random. So we've done more damage than previously in my previous fight. What's that? So yeah, let's go over another team. So as you can see, when I saved that team, we've done 61 million. And now I wanted to try Seidic instead of Bleddyn. Timing will be a little bit different because we're not going to use Bleddyn before Gerthin. So, you know, we're going to follow this skill here. Equipment-wise, same equipment as Bleddyn was wearing. Basically, I just replaced the hero and put the same equipment. I actually had to increase crit rate a little bit because he doesn't have a passive 20%. So we got 100% crit with 99% crit damage and 4.7k attack. And again, we're gonna put Gerthin on the artifact that most of us use, which is Manticore, and we'll see if these other heroes can do well with this artifact. And again, defensive aura here. So let's play this fight and pray to RNGesus that our damage dealers will not fall until the 5-minute mark, because GARIUS and Velocia can keep this team alive till 5-minute mark. So with this team, we're at 5 stacks, 20 million already, and look at the Gerthin and Seidic damage. So basically, Seidic is doing similar damage to Bleddyn in this team. And this is what I wanted to compare here. So I left Gerthin at the stage that I use her on my main account, and I put those two heroes, Bleddyn and Seidic, and put this amazing artifact on them. Obviously, they will perform worse with any other artifact. Bleddyn would outdamage Seidic with the Eyeball of the Giant, because Seidic's damage is not coming from the ultimate. It's mostly battle skill as well. So yeah, there's few things. Gerthin is still the easiest one to build and to utilize the damage she can do. And here we are, 10 stacks, 43.5 million damage. Still going strong. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using GARIUS constantly, because he's the best here. I mean, obviously you can bring in Aquila and she'll do amazing as well. You just need to move all your damage dealers next to her. Well, not even that, but you know. But there's another hero that you can use. Obviously, he will not be as good, but I will use him in a free-to-play team, and I'll use him without the GARIUS staff. You might put GARIUS staff if you have it on that hero as well, but I didn't do that. But yeah, the free-to-play section is coming shortly, so don't worry about it. And yeah, 55 million here, 56. Seidic is about to die if we don't shield him, and again, Velocia's shield and GARIUS shield is a little bit desynced. So we need to press it manually eventually. I know I don't like that either. And Shina is dead. We were a second behind. And now with Shina dead, the issue is, look at our Gerthin. She is not regenerating enough ice crystals to keep her battle skill on constantly. So the damage is lower. The damage is going down significantly. And this is again randomness of this fight. So play these fights as much as possible, as many times as possible. Try to look at this highest ceiling you can do. In my case, that was 59 million. And try repeating this fight until you are close to hitting that. So we've done 62 million, which previously was at 62.5, so very similar result to what we've done previously. Let's go over here and let's do another team. So the next team that I've tried was an Ice Blast team with both Beldelle and Gerthin. And as you can see, 110 million damage were against a Zorak team. So obviously Sheena is just such a beast when it comes to giving these ice crystals. And the most interesting thing, I played it on default. Look at this. I didn't set up any timing, and this is me again trying to show you guys that even if your timing sucks, you can just play it on default and it's going really good against these bosses. Equipment plan, again, this time around I've put Lamps of Prina on Gerthin to see how she compares to Beldelle with her ultimate, her exclusive artifact. Everyone else is wearing the exact same equipment. So let's play this fight. And again, randomness, we can die early or we can survive the whole fight. So with this team, we are at 30 million mark at 5 stacks and it's all random casting. So, I mean, this is the easiest you can do, not thinking, just put in the best equipment, the best heroes you have, and just firing them through. Look at the damage. 59% of the team's damage is done by Beldelle. And then it's Gerthin with 30% damage. So she's basically, Beldelle is doing double the damage of Gerthin. And here we are, 10 million, 10 stacks, 72 million damage, and 1.5 minutes, well, almost 2 minutes left. And as you can see, yes, Beldelle and everyone else is taking damage now. The shields are overlapping, but we're still playing it on auto. Constantly. And yeah, the worst thing happened here, randomness killed our Gerthin. She managed to do 26 million damage. We're at 92 with a minute left. So as long as Beldelle doesn't die, we still have a chance to do a lot of damage. And this is what Sheena is so good at. She is enough to keep your main damage dealers with these ice crystals. And even if one of them falls, there's still another one to keep the team going. And again, no attack down on the boss, because that's sadly what both Frost and Radiant team do not excel at. I mean, we got a Rose, but we'll probably want to use Rose elsewhere. Because Alton does that AoE damage around the battlefield, and Rose excels when she hits a target and she heals around it. So 108 million damage done compared to 110 that I've done previously. And we can see that on the spreadsheet. 110, so there was this randomness. Now we're gonna move away from Beldelle and focus on Frost team. So we've been trying the Ice Blast team constantly now. But let's not forget we can also play 2 teams here on Otherworld Exploration. We can't play it on Continental Challenge, but when it comes to Otherworld Exploration, we will be able to fight Alton twice. So since we have Ice Blast team and Frost team, we can play them together. And this is the team here. We're gonna use 2 Frost heroes and 2 Ice Blast heroes with just GARIUS, keeping the team alive. And again, this time around, we want GARIUS to provide us with max healing and shield before the battle skills. We're going to use Sheena to apply defense down on the boss. We could go damage on her. I mean, why not? We can use Lozenia to do that. And then we have Gerthin doing damage and Usha as well. So we get Lozenia to apply Frost here. So let's look at the equipment. Did I change anything? No. Okay, so we had to use this to make sure Lozenia's got enough cooldown, but we didn't. We could skip that, put Witch's Remain here on Lozenia, and put more offensive way on Sheena. But I mean, I never noticed Sheena doing too much damage. Maybe that will be her chance to shine. Again, GARIUS the same equipment. Lozenia focusing on offense as well. She doesn't do much damage, sadly. And Usha with Gambler set, focusing on high attack crit damage as well. And this time around, we have Gerthin with this legendary artifact. So yeah, this is still rather pay to win formation. And again, this doesn't really matter. We got AoE healing. So let's see how this formation plays out. So here we are, 18 million damage at 5 stacks already. Just GARIUS keeping us alive. And this is why GARIUS, once again, is probably one of the best tanks in the game currently. Definitely when it comes to rare and epic tier. We'll see how Arder performs, but that's another hero that will jump into this team. So with just one healer slash shielder, it's really hard to keep damage dealers alive because how random this fight is. So the damage will be lower, definitely here, and we will see our heroes die, and eventually you can see now that Gerthin is ut, GARIUS will follow, and everyone else. So this is why it's important to have those two shielders or healers. But keep in mind, this is still 40 million damage. This is still competitive damage without you using any healers here. I mean, any other healer. Now you can build a second team with Gerthin Seidic, Nord, Velocia, for example, and even someone else with a shield, which I will cover as well. So there's so many options to do this damage. Obviously not in the Continental Challenge, because you can only face a boss once a week, but in the Otherworld exploration, you can do more than one fight against a single boss. So now we move to the Frost team, and we're gonna go again the pay-to-win road with Oster and Drist and Losenia again. So we're trying to fight using a good Frost team, see how much damage we can do. And I mean, the castings will be the same. Our Oster will cast whenever, because he's getting an extra ultimate points. And same with Drist. Okay, we don't care as long as we have this at 20 seconds and they have the same complete recharge time, they'll go together. Equipment wise, as you can see, yes, I went for epic artifacts. So this is a little bit less pay to win. I mean, at least artifact wise, we got 3 artifacts that are core, at least for the shielders, for GARIUS, and Witches Remain. Hero-wise, yes, this is still pay to win. We have 4 legendary heroes, 1 epic. But I mean, if you've been lucky enough as a free-to-play player and you got a team like that, well done. So yeah, this is the team, this is the equipment, and let's load it and play it. And as you can see, we were able to do 34 million when I ran it. And let's see how this fight played out. Right, so 5 stacks, 10 million damage, definitely slower than with other teams, and we can see the rest out damaging Oster in this case. So that's also quite interesting. Here we are, 10 stacks, 20 million damage, soon to have the max rewards, which are at 22 million. And no one's dying so far. 1.5 minutes, well, 1:45 left, which means, yes, this is a slower run. But I mean, it still works. We still got 22 million. So if you were really unlucky with Ice Blast team, or you want to split this team, because as I said, GARIUS and Velocia can be split. You can use GARIUS in your Ice Blast team, and you can use Velocia here with someone else. You can use Quarion. There's a lot of different heroes, which I'll show you few of them. But remember, it's all dependent on the roster you have. I can only show you a way, and you need to adjust your formation to it. I think the timings are the most important thing that I can share with you, because in most cases they will be the same. But your equipment and your roster will vary from mine, as well as Psychic Core, remember that. So yeah, 53 seconds left, 28 million damage. This team has the same chance of surviving the whole fight as the previous ones, because nothing changes when it comes to our supports. So again, it will be all about randomness, and we are at 15 stacks soon, 30 million damage, and 30 seconds left. There we go, 32 million. Let's compare it with what we had on a spreadsheet. We went to 40, no, that's not it. That's it, 34 million damage. We used crit aura previously, now with the defense one, we survived the whole fight and we are at 34 million as well. So, you know, 2 auras wait, 2 auras work. And yeah, surprisingly enough, Drist outdamaged Oster barely, but he did. So yeah, that's the team. Now another Frost variant will use Usha. So I've been asked to run this team. I barely see Elecabre anywhere, but obviously let's see if she will work replacing Felocia. And as you can see, the damage is very similar. The timings will be a little bit different. We want GARIUS shield at a later time now. That's because Elecabre has an ultimate reduction, ultimate energy reduction. So our rotation on the tank, on the healers, will also be longer. Instead of 18 seconds, we're going for 20 and a half, and that still could be improved to like 20.75. Okay, so keep that in mind. And we want Elecabre to cast her ultimate just before the boss's ultimate, so we can take 50% of that energy, basically delaying that ultimate. And yeah, this works really well, and we're downgrading again. We're dropping Losenia for Rava, which is a cheap Losenia basically, and we're downgrading Drist to Usha. Equipment wise, we're also running similar things. So basically 3 legendary artifacts, 2 epic artifacts. But as you can see, we are downgrading constantly, and soon we're gonna hit the full free-to-play scenarios. And here again, we can run multiple auras, defense, max HP, and crit damage. Previously, I ran a defensive one with 32 million damage. So let's go more offensive this round with crit damage. So idea here is for Elecabre to cast that ultimate, reduce the energy which delays the boss, so the stacking is also slower. And here we are at 5 stacks with 12 million damage already done. Oster out damaging Usha barely. There we are. See that. So 24 million at 10 stacks, and we only got 1.5 minutes left. Now, Oster was really unlucky. He died, right? So Elecabre has got healing, but her healing is over time. So I think the best kind of healers here are basically those with burst heals. I mean, the recovery over time is not too bad if you're lucky and avoid these shots. But if you're unlucky and you get 2, 3 in a row, then you're dead. So as you can see, 26 million damage and we're falling. Everything crumbles. And when we ran this fight previously with a different aura, remember, we went for defense aura. So with a defense aura, this team managed to do 32 million damage, which is 5 million damage more. And it might be thanks to the defensive aura, but it's also a higher probability that it was just how random Alton fight is. Now we're moving to the free-to-play section. As you can see, the numbers are way lower, but we're using epic and rare heroes with epic and rare artifacts, not even witches remain, and in most cases, as you can see here, not even a crown, because I run these teams with crown, replacing Bleddyn's Eyeball of the Giant and making him accuracy oriented to apply this and serial set. I did less damage with Bleddyn built like that. Sorry, I made less damage with Bleddyn build around serial set and the crown compared to just pure damage. So it's worth keeping that in mind. And the first team we're gonna run will use 3 Ice Blast heroes, Seidic, Bleddyn, and Gerthin, and 2 Radiant supports. One of them you might not used ever, and one of them that you probably used. So Quarian ultimate has a really low cooldown and also grants us defense up 1. So this is amazing, and we want to cast it at 11.5, or we can replace them basically. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, I think it will be even better if we have defense up for these 2 skills, so switching them is good. They are at 18-second rotation, although as you can see, we don't have 18 seconds here, but well, if you remember the equipment, he's got the Incest Burner, which means he's removing 1.9 second out of this. So that's 18 seconds. That's what we want, basically. And again, we're running Bleddyn as first to give 20% attack to the hero with the highest attack, which will be our Gerthin, and then everyone else just go their own road. And since they are we don't even need to do it at 20 seconds. The reason I've done it at 20 seconds was because I used the crown set previously, but we don't really care about that. We don't even need to have that at 10 seconds. We can go just default here. And everything else is good. So that will be it. We've done 18 million previously, and as I said, Incest Burner is a really great artifact. It helps with these pesky rotations that are 18 seconds. And this is the team. Now, I mentioned that we had to group them together, right? We had to group them together because of Quarion's low range and similar Kaledou's low range on his ultimate. So that's the difference. It's no longer a full battlefield ultimates. And yeah, we're gonna go for it, and we'll see how this fight plays out. So the main difference in this fight will be us losing shielding ability, right? We have heals, but we don't have shields. So we can't absorb the damage, we can only heal the damage. So it's good to move these heals around. And as you can see, I'm healing with Kaledou, and then I'm healing with Quarion. Those 2 skills do the most damage, so we need to ensure we are full HP before they happen. So we cast first heal before the first skill and second heal before the second heal. The ultimate, we can survive. And this also gives us a chance to compare the 3 epic heroes on the Ice Blast team. And as you can see, the damage spread is very even. Now, the reason why it's even is because Gerthin is actually the worst hero when it comes to self-regenerating this ice crystal. So is Seidic, really. So there's no one really helping us here. And as you can see, Gerthin is not casting the battle skill constantly, so her crit buff is not on. Well, it can disappear eventually. Bleddyn, similar. He's not applying enough crystals himself. At least he still got his 20% passive when he cast a skill. And Seidic, in similar fashion, as you can see, these ice crystals are eventually running out. So this is really slowing down the damage, but there's an answer to that. which will be our next team. So we're definitely not going to survive the whole 5 minutes. I mean, as I said, shielding is so important in this game. And we are crumbling at 15 million with 7 stacks on. Obviously, you might have at least 1 or 2 legendary artifacts, which will really help. But 15 million damage with this team is quite good, I would say. It's a really low budget. Obviously, we're using our, I would say, very good damage dealers with lacking supports. So we definitely want to use them in a proper team with better supports. But, you know, if you don't have GARIUS, I know some people still don't have GARIUS, or you don't have a proper healer like Catherine. We could use Catherine here, Jillian, stuff like that, right? So yeah, that was the team. 15 million now, 18 million previously. So you can see this discrepancy here is huge. And now another team, as I said, I've noticed that those heroes are not actually generating enough ice crystals, so the damage is lower. So I brought in Nord, who is someone who can generate these crystals, and I've built him offensively here. With basically, we don't care about the timings, as I said, just those two. So offensively, with as much attack speed as possible, because if you don't know, he has a chance of granting 1 stack of ice crystal to the ice blast ally with highest attack, which will be Gerthin, every time he basically deals damage. So it can come from auto attacks as well. So that's how we utilize him, and let's play this fight. So yeah, you can easily see that now. Gerthin, 5 stacks of ice crystal, constantly regenerating these ice crystals. Nord damage is not that bad at 17%. So basically, if we look at the spread of the damage, we got Gerthin, Bleddyn, and then we have Nord, which basically does the similar damage or even a little bit more than Sheena, right? The issue here is we have this low support. So if you have a stronger supports, if you have GARIUS, then you're good to go, right? So if you run this team with GARIUS and Felocia, your damage will be higher. I think this damage will go to like 20-30 million. Without those two crucial heroes here, it's harder to keep your units alive, and this is why this damage is so much lower, because we die at 2.5 minutes instead of 5. So you know that's the thing. And if you manage to get better supports, that's good for you. That means this team that I'm using right now will do way more damage, even without legendary heroes and legendary artifacts. So yeah, we are at 12 million and we're about to fall. We can't heal. As you can see, 17,000 heals are not enough. So even though we casted Corion's ultimate, we didn't top up our heroes. Now, hopefully, Kalido will cast a skill before, but he didn't. So once again, we are at 15 million damage. This is similar damage to what we've done previously. And we're using max HP aura, because that's what Bleddyn gives us. There's nothing else we can really do. So yeah, still works. Still, you can get 11 million reward. I mean, obviously, as a free-to-play player, you need to lower your expectations. You know, it's cool to do over 22 million, and you might with a different setup, improving the supports, as I said, but also try to be realistic, right? So now I noticed that, okay, so we're dying because we can't heal through. So I brought in Traveler. I brought in ourselves, because Traveler has a shield, and the shield is based off his attack. He also applies a debuff through his battle skill, so we can put a serial set on him. And as you can see, GARIUS's or Felocia's timing at 23.5 and 18 seconds. As you can see, we are only at 19, but that's what we have, the burner. And we got Quarian here again, healing at 13 seconds, and those don't matter, as you could see previously. So max HP aura, this is all we have. Similar placement, and let's just play this fight. So yeah, we got a little bit defensive buff early on, but it doesn't matter because at this stage Alton does no damage at all. So again, damage coming from Gerthin Bleddyn and a little bit of Nord's damage. And Quarion here, right? So yeah, shield. The shield is not that small, truth to be told. But yeah, there we go, the healing. And that's just the rotation. As you can see, this debuff, speed penalty, that is something that procs serial set. So that's why our Traveler is built with accuracy, and that's why Burner is such a good artifact, because it gives that huge accuracy as well. So if you build that, put that plus Legendary Rune with accuracy, and you either lucky on substats, you can hit the cap really easy, and even if you can't, you can still put accuracy chest. By that means you lose 60% attack, so, you know, something to consider. But 4 stacks, 12 million damage. I mean, looking at the damage we do, 5 stacks and 12 million, that is not bad. I mean, these heroes do not do a bad damage. The reason why the damage is lower compared to these pay-to-win teams is because the supports are not keeping the team alive. So as long as you have these core damage dealers, finding good supports will really improve your team as a free-to-play player. So remember that when choosing epic selection chest, maybe it's not the wise idea to go for the damage dealers that you need, but supports. So yeah, as you can see, 17 million damage. I mean, Otherworld Exploration, that is the good rewards. Not 22 million yet, but with Otherworld Exploration, remember, we'll have extra buffs. So this 17 million, which was 18 million when I ran it previously, might change to 22 million, and this team might give you the max rewards on the Otherworld Exploration. Now, another team that I tried, so obviously we've been trying Ice Blast heroes, and we know they're strong, the damage dealers are strong. So I went for the Frost team, and I also wanted to move Kaledo out and go with Elvis. Elvis has a recharge speed penalty applied, so we had to build him with a little bit of accuracy as well. And we used Usha with Rava, which is a really good combination. So Rava in this case was our crown applier. So we finally had defense down. And she also enabled Usha to deal damage. And again, we're going shield, healing, and we're going tank. So we're going less threat, but more survival. Basically, you'll see how slow this boss recharges his stacks. So that's the main idea here, okay? Slow down the boss, survive enough for Usha to deal damage. And as you can see, yeah, the damage was there. We hit the 15 million mark, which is not bad compared to all of those teams we ran so far, and the highest of all the Frost teams that ran. So again, the fight won't be long. Still, the supports are the issue, but at least we will survive a little bit longer and still deal damage, still utilize the Season 1 heroes, really. Here we go. 5 stacks at 8 million damage. And yeah, we're starting to get the beaten. As you can see, Richard's speed penalty is constantly on the boss, which delays his skills. So despite us not really having too much damage, we're doing good. And I mean, if we're following this role, we might actually maybe even replace our Traveler with a little bit more damage oriented hero, and hope for the best to get over the line. Who knows? You know, there's always an option, and you can try it as well. Because up until that point, basically like 5 stacks, we're not really taking that much damage, so 1 healer is enough. Eventually, we'll cross this point where we'll be dying, because that's how much damage has been done to us. And again, if we are unlucky, then we're down. And yes, the Traveler's shield is based on attack, so, you know, he still does 15% damage. But maybe just forgetting that and rushing, you know, because we have a delay. Elvis is delaying the boss. So maybe adding an extra damage dealer here will be even more beneficial than playing with Traveler. Like, you know, maybe you got a legendary hero here that you would like to add. Or even Rowena. Yeah, so here we are, 13 million damage. And if we look at the spreadsheet, we've done 15 million. So a little bit less than previously, but 15 million is still achievable with this team without any other world exploration buffs. So next team, free to play, 11 million. This time around, as I said, I replaced the Traveler with Voresh. Okay, so Voresh has buff prohibition, which helps with the rally. We can't dispel the rally, but we can prevent the boss from getting it. At least that was the idea. And we had to build him with haste to make sure he has this 18 seconds cooldown. And since we ran out of the accuracy artifacts, because we're using that on Rava and we're using that on Traveler, we had to go with Eyeball of the Giant, which is obviously not optimal, but that's again why Witches Remain is such a crucial artifact. It has accuracy as well. So that's the team we're running, as you can see, 2 cereals. Someone needs to absorb the damage. In our case, that is going to be Quarion, so we have this 15% damage reduction on everyone else, and basically absorbing 15% damage. And yeah, we're not running any tanks. The timings, yes. So Quarion heal, shield, and we have buff prohibition. We missed the first rotation because of 10 seconds here. So yeah, that's what we want. We want to make sure he doesn't have a rally on the skills that deal damage, the most damage basically. Maybe it will work as well on ultimate. Haven't checked that yet really, but yeah, this is the team. 11 million. I mean, this is still a good reward here, and not the highest, but you know, 11 million is the same reward as 15 million team. And you know, maybe you already invested in Voresh, so this will be something to consider. And here we are, 5 stacks, 6.7 million damage. The team is still alive. So that's it. That's the good news. I mean, Voresh is doing 20% damage of the team. He provides a little bit of healing, and obviously this buff prohibition, so quite useful hero here. I mean, Voresh even out heals Quarion, so. Okay, and that's the 10 million damage, so I'm expecting the next few ultimates to be not good. I mean, at least the skill wise, the battle skills will start to deal damage and we will soak that damage. Because, yeah, Quarion's healing is there, it's fast, but it does not keep us at full HP basically. But there's it. The 11 million threshold has been reached. And we're still going. So as you can see, so many hits and we're down. 12 million damage, still 8k points, so still no bad, right? The difference is smaller here. And now onto the last team. Right, so you remember the team that was a mix of both teams? Well, I covered that. This is the team, right? So this is a mix of 2 teams. So I've tried to do something similar for the free-to-play, and sadly, if we drop the Traveler, then we don't really have 2 damage mitigations. So Usha had to go without an enabler, and I didn't go accuracy on her as well. I just wanted to see how this low basically mix, low grade mix will work with Nord instead of Shina. So I ran it and let's see the damage. Okay, so 5 stacks, 10 million damage, so we can see it's going faster. Wow, we struggle again to keep ourselves alive. Well, according to the spreadsheet, last time I've done 11 million with this team. We're at 13 million. So that's again, I mean, 2 million might seem like a low difference, but because the number is low, it's actually quite high. So yeah, the randomness is still there. So Alton is the boss that is really, really random. But there's so many ways to approach him. And as you can see, I've showed you like 14 formations. And some of them pay to win, some of them free to play, but hopefully some of you will find the middle ground between them and combine them together. I think if you play an Ice Blast, this is the easiest boss to deal with. And you can do a lot of damage. I mean, on my first day, I've done 40 million, and then I improved the team to deal 55 million. So yeah, that's pretty much covers Alton. That's the third boss we covered, and hopefully next week I'll be able to do Gerthin. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe, bye!